Stay tuned for 40 years of heavy metal history, 24 hours a day.
Hey everybody, it is Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show and the Aftershocks podcast. And before we show you this next video, just wanted to remind you that you can add the CMSPN to your Roku. That's right. If you have a Roku or a Roku TV, just click the link below. It's in the scroll. It's also in the description of this video. And make sure you're logged into your Roku account on your computer, and it will add it right to your Roku. It'll add it, then you just refresh your device, and bang, there it is. That way you can watch all of our episodes, whether it's us or Skull Sessions or Talk to Me or Aftershocks or Classic Metal Show. All be on your TV. It's a deal, right? And it's free. All right, make sure you do that. And now here's the video you actually came to see. It is your Classic Metal Show right here on Heavy Metal Television. And joining us today to talk about the release of a song or 150, as well as videos and everything else. He's one of my favorite singers ever. He's former Enuff Z'nuff singer, the voice of Enuff Z'nuff still. I don't care what anybody says. He is the one, the only. He is Donnie Vie. Donnie, how are you, man?
Oh, pretty good for my age. Thank you. I'm hanging in there, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, Donnie, like I was telling you before we started, I talked to you roughly a year ago when you were just starting to get things kind of back together and moving forward. Obviously, you've put it back in a huge way, man. So talk a little bit about this last year and getting your life back together and moving forward, you know, not only as a musician, but personally as well, because it seems like you've really kind of put the pieces together. You know, when a lot of people, including myself, I ain't gonna lie to you, weren't sure you were going to.
Including myself.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the last year hasn't really been that drastically different for me. You know what I mean? I wasn't out touring, and it wasn't, you know, I put out a record, and then, you know, then I got sick. I was in the hospital for quite a while. I didn't know if I was going to make it out of there. They didn't think I would. I walked out of there and started working again and put together a show. Forgive me, I'm sweating. I've just been cleaning up, vacuuming up a lake that's in my room from the storm last night, you know. And so in any case, so COVID hit, you know, right when I was starting to put together a band to go out live. And so that put a big damper on everything. And I waited through the summer, and I think we're on year 2 now of that, right?
Yeah.
At COVID. Yeah. So like I did a show, and the band I had wasn't successful, but the show was very successful. And so I was booking more, and then they all got canceled and refunded. And so just waited and waited and waited to release this Party Time song, because it certainly wasn't party time, you know. And
right.
So we got towards, you know, it's lightening up and loosening up, and shot a video for it. It's a really great video. It's really funny, and it's really entertaining. And everybody likes to play a superhero. It's everybody's dream, you know. And
right.
I don't know how super my hero is, but as I'm a disheveled Batman, and so I retracked the song. I was getting ready to the one I was going to put out. I'm glad I didn't, because I retracked it, you know, and I got like Chip to play bass on it. I got Roger Manning from Jellyfish to do like the horns and arrangements, and I retracked it. I got Mike Tholen to remix it, and came out really good. And then we just sat and waited again. And
right.
And now we just released it last week, and it's doing really well. And that's in support of my flash drive, which is all of my solo records, all of my solo videos, some other crap that I've done, and a brand new record worth of new material that I did in my home studio, you know.
Sure. As well as, you know, you didn't say, I don't think you just said it, but all the videos as well. There's what, 30 videos as well
about
on it?
40 or 50 videos. And plus this drive itself is also, this is the drive is in here. See,
okay.
and then the drive itself is it's your VIP meet and greet, all that other stuff, shit for the shows coming up, you know.
Very good.
So I give you a lot of incentive for for $100.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And dude, I consider myself to be a big fan. I have all the records. At least I thought I did until I got the box. And now that I got, I was like, wow, I did not hear this album. There's like one or two that slid by, and any fan of your voice, I think, will appreciate the music, because whether you're in Enuff Z'nuff or whether you're doing Donnie Vie, it's kind of the same stuff, really. I mean, there's a reason that you were half of that band, because you kind of brought the melody, and you certainly brought the voice, but you brought the melody and the lyrics and
the songs
and the songs, yeah.
And the voice and production and just all kinds of things. I didn't bring the game. I didn't know how to play the game. He's a master of playing the game, and of course the best bass player, that a power pop bass player there is, but it's the least he can do is still play on my shit. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I still got some capacity, but focusing on forging ahead, moving forward, and getting back out now and seeing all my friends and fans again, and I miss everybody. I want to sing all these songs for them, and I just talked to a booking agent today, one of them, to start getting that in the works, and
okay.
I'm just trying to struggle on and deal with my anxiety and other emotional, mental issues, which are they're heavy, and I don't think there's enough focus on those things, and at least in the United States, for help and awareness for that shit. But people don't realize how debilitating that the anxiety can be, and
right.
I blacked out from it 2 days ago. I had a blackout. It got so bad that I had a blackout, and I don't want to find out how much further that can go. What happens next after that? You know what I mean? And
sure.
But that's basically what I've been doing. Got a nice little circle of people now. I've gotten it together, gotten my head on straight. Got a really good program and went through it, and I got the therapy and everything I needed to deal with confront all my issues and baggage and things that I'd had since I was a little kid. It was a rough childhood, and and then I went right into Enuff Z'nuff, and so I wasn't prepared for that, and that's medicated myself, and that took on a life of its own.
Right.
But I'm here. I'm still fine. All the people that told me were worried about me, a lot of them are gone.
Right.
And I'm still right here, man.
Sure. Exactly. Donnie, do you think, and I'm making an assumption that I know nothing about, so tell me if I'm full of shit here, but do you think that the anxiety and the, having issues from when you were young, gives you that creative outlet, but the more you do it as you get older, you can't use that outlet to I don't know, medicate yourself or heal yourself. Because I mean, obviously you've always been able to write really deep songs. You've never written and said, okay, well, I got to rhyme play with day and make it work. You've always written really deep songs. Do you think that creativity came from the mental stuff at the beginning, and as you got older, it gets harder and harder to deal with it in day-to-day life?
Well, like I always said, God gives you lemons, you squeeze them in his eyes. I mean, the anxiety, definitely I isolated when I was young and since a little kid, and spent a lot of time. I knew when the first time I heard a Beatle record, I knew that it was on. This is what I'm going to do. This is everybody will love me then. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to be. As I grew older, I started, I didn't quite get into my own songwriting and stuff like that till I was like 14 or 15 or 16. And that's when my goals, aspirations changed from wanting to be a rock star to wanting to be an artist who could affect other people's lives, like the songs that influenced me affected my life. And my fans, they always let me know, yeah, you really did this and you really did that. It's like I'm king of the broken, from the broken people out there. But I've always used what I have, whether it's anxiety or pain or drugs or this and that. I've used it to try to put it in a creative way,
Sure.
and some things create more creative than others, you know what I mean? But as I get older and you get rid of all this and that, I'm working on different methods of coping with the anxiety and trying different medications. That's a full-time job to work on that. You know what I mean? And you'll never have all of the time to afford to just do that. You know what I mean? There's a window of time that while I'm still have hair and I'm still alive and stuff like that I've got to be, getting busy.
Sure.
And there's a lot of years that I took off, and I just, I wasn't any good to anybody in the shape that I had gotten myself into. And so it needed to, I'm ready to go now. It's, I'm stepping outside of my room a little bit further every day.
Sure. I get it. I definitely get it, man. Well, Donnie, as I told you when we started, man, I love the box set idea. I love it because I just don't think a lot of people, for a number of reasons, got to hear a lot of these songs that you did. That's one reason, but there's a second reason to it as well. And especially a record like the Just Enough record,
Yeah.
I think it really showcases how universal your songwriting is because you rework it, you represent it, and it doesn't lose anything. A lot of those songs, I think all of those songs were Enuff Z'nuff tunes that you kind of rework with a piano or just an acoustic or what have you. And they still have that it quality, whatever that it quality is. When you write songs, do you write them like one way but hear them fully developed, or how do you create like that where you can have such universally transmittable music?
Well, they all start out the same way. I'm given these ideas in thin air by the powers that be, and I'm a conduit. And what I do is I follow the song and I let the song tell me what it wants to be, and that's the secret to my writing. And experience, of course, and stuff. But they all start out organic. They all start from somewhere organic, and I'm not picturing any of that going on. I let the song tell me what it wants to be. And for a lot of years, I'm not going to knock the work that I did with Enuff Z'nuff, but it's kind of pigeonholed to others' interpretation and others' mindsets of what things should be. And I kind of got locked into a sound. You can hear through the years that I've tried to break out of that as much as I could with Enuff Z'nuff. And that's why you'll hear different orchestration and things as I go and different styles and this and that. But, I've always written the songs, I wrote those songs, I write these songs, and Just Enough was my first stab at, let's see what the song would like to be. And I kept it very simple. Mm-hmm. And originally, I even started to write some of those songs to see if we could solicit to other artists and things to might want to cover. From what I've heard, and a lot of feedback is that my voice has a lot to do with how good the song is, and so sure. I can dig that, But that was my first shot at being able to explore things and drop some of this shit. And drop the Z'nuff and just have just enough,
right?
And see what I could do. And then, as we went on, I do more Enuff Z'nuff stuff. Of course, it came back to Dissonance, and then just another thing led to another, and then wrapped around your middle finger was I was still 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the thing I was familiar with, the production style that I was familiar with.
Sure.
And then White Album was just me just by myself with a laptop, and just I bottomed out, and I'm just going to clear out the cobwebs and the basements and everything and get all those ideas out. Then my kind of thought was, I think I could be done with this after that. You know what I mean? Let's get all these ideas out and could be done with this. And so that was my mindset. That was my frame of mind. That's when my energy was gone. My spirit was gone. And then I went through a big rehabilitation process and program that I needed since I was little, you know what I mean? And
sure.
Got a grip on some things. And then I got to make the first record I've ever got to make, but I completed the vision where I had the good production, the big production, the good players, everything, and get to a clear, total, complete vision of what I wanted to make, right down to the sequencing, right down to what songs fit together and everything. And as far as a Donnie Vie record, it's like a perfect record, and as far as Enuff Z'nuff goes, I think as a writer, I've outgrew that quite a few years ago. I hung in there and out of necessity and stuff, and out of that's where work was. That's where I could get the work, and but we grew too much apart, too far apart. And our ideas is just, there's a lot of things happen when you're with something's this close to your face. You can't really see the lines on your hands. You take them back and you get, you motherfucker. And, so these things of, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens at a time for a purpose. And hindsight is insight. And as we go along, we start to see what did what and where it happened where. And, it's your stories, but material, there's no shortage of that. And I just want to continue to evolve and to continue to keep putting out the same quality of music after 25 records, which just gets tricky. But, it's once I can't anymore, once I have some close people to me tell me, hey, listen, man, this is, you're slipping here. This ain't as good. I'll be done. I won't put anything new out anymore. I got enough records that I can continue to go out and play,
Right. No question. Well, man, you mentioned Enuff Z'nuff a couple times, and I'll tell you up front, Chip is a friend of mine. So, I'm going to ask a hard question by prefacing it that Chip is somebody that I am friendly with. And obviously he's carried on the name, and to my ears anyway, that's what he's carried on, the name.
Thank you for saying that. It saves me from having to say a lot.
Well, no, I mean, it just doesn't. And I've seen it a couple of times as well, and it just doesn't have the same spirit that you guys had. It's what it is now is a hairband nostalgia act, and that I'm not saying that's a horrible thing. I love the '80s. I love that era, but it's not. You guys, especially that second half of your career, Peach Fuzz, Paraphernalia, 7, that's where I think you got really experimental with some of the writing, or you forced a lot more ideas in, and that's kind of not there now. Now it's everything that was a hit and everything that sounded like everything that was a hit being played for 45 minutes.
He's got everything he could possibly get from me. And went off to do his thing, and that's what he wants to do, and he doesn't want anything to do with me. And I personally have nothing close to the same vision as he does. And what I'm all about is the connection with the fans. To connect with them, to give them what they want, and to never let them down, like they never let me down. And I proposed doing shows with him again, and he shut it down. He want nothing to do with it. And so what do you think the fans want? Think they want to hear you up there gargling thumbtacks, or do you want to hear me, the guy?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm the guy. You know what I mean? Right. So I just, luckily I own the machine that makes them, so I just took it over here and set it up another shop, and let him do what he wants. It's I don't think it's not Enuff Z'nuff. That's what it is. To call it that is like putting a turd in a Snickers wrapper. You know what I mean? It's like you open it up, it's like, and then what happens then? You never want a Snickers again. You know what I mean? And so that analogy doesn't work with his ego and his, but all the greatest things and all the saddest things and this and that I've done in my life, I did with that guy next to me. And, and I considered him a big brother, and I'm not so sure, what I was considered. A lot of is really, the people that get you are usually the people you're not watching, you know what I mean? And they get you. And cause, it's just, you can't see the lines in your hands, right. Now you hold it back. There you go, you motherfucker. And, I just became a scratching post and a good scapegoat for everything. And I made myself an easy target with that stuff. And, rumors become facts and everything. And I was totally open to it when once COVID hit, we did that Cleopatra deal for the Z'nuff catalog, and
Sure.
I was open to it, and I proposed it, and he wasn't into it, and it's with that attitude, I'm not into it either. And you know, if something made sense and there was some reason to do that, you know, I would maybe try a little harder to do that, but I could do my own Enuff Z'nuff thing just like he is. And you know, it's like I said, you know, people might necessarily want to buy that candy bar anymore, you know, but
Right.
if I did it, I would do it in a clever way, and I'd probably bring like an all-star cast with me. I just was talking to a booking agent just before this, as a matter of fact,
Okay.
and we're looking at future and seeing what our options are and what we're going to do. And but you know, the single and the videos just came out,
Sure.
and I'm really happy with it. And people seem to be liking it, and these things are selling, and you know, we're doing okay over here, and just working.
Sure. Well, it's great to hear that you're going to tour. I mean, have you already do you have players sort of in mind that you want to have, or you still working that out? Or
I got a couple in mind. I don't know about that. We'll see what happens. You know, we'll see what happens. And a lot of guys are out of work right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you can get the bargain price, blue light special. And, you know, and like I said, if I did an Enuff Z'nuff run, it would be a cast of characters. It would be all cats that, you know, are equally of the same fame or whatever as me. And so, you know, we can pull in the draw and extract what we lost, you know,
Sure.
but it's not my focus though.
Mhm.
My focus is my own show, my own stuff. It's like you said, it's the same thing, only it's over here. It's called something else now. And,
Sure.
and when I do put my show together, it will include a big block of Enuff Z'nuff stuff.
Cool. It's not going to have a guitar player that's allegedly Billy Gibbons' son, right?
No, no, unless he comes along, maybe he could buy in, maybe he could do a buy-in, you know.
I hear you, man. Well, man, I did want to ask you about one song on the record that I thought, and again, I'm guessing, you could tell me right, wrong, indifferent. One song sounds like it's very, very personal to you, which is the song Already Gone. Lyrically, it seems very much like you wrote this at some point, looking back at your career and looking forward to moving forward. Is that true? And if it's not true, what were you writing about?
Yeah, it was a lot of these songs where I'm singing about someone or to someone, or kind of a third person looking in and you know, and advising or encouraging or something like that. They start out as I'm singing to myself, saying it to myself, and then my hopes are that if somebody else can connect with it. But that was just one that, you know, I write a lot of songs, and Beautiful Things record was those songs. They weren't necessarily the best, all just the best songs. They were the ones that fit together, and they made that record, you know, it's like I say, a perfect Donnie Vie record. And some songs dropped out the bottom as other ones came in the top. And Already Gone was one that was one of the demos, and there was a few others, and I just wanted to get them all out there. So that's great that you mentioned that, because I always thought it had something to it. There was a couple of things about it that I didn't think had completely found it yet, you know,
Okay.
like the end of the bridge and stuff, but it's for the most part, it's a pretty good song. And
Sure.
I'm glad you said that. There's other stuff on there too, like Nothing to Lose is like one of my favorite rockers now, and Under and Over. That's power pop at its finest, you know. And
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of great stuff on there, and I hope people like it. And there's a lot of new unreleased material, and to follow Beautiful Things with a record, you know, that cost money, that took players, that
Sure.
took production, that took, you know, quality, that cost money. And
Sure.
and to follow that, you're going to have to, at the minimum, have all of that going, and that's expensive. And so if you can live with my home studio production, which is getting better.
Sure.
And now I'm taking more time, because those demos, of course, they like, you can hear the I Can Save the World demo in there, and the record on the flash.
Right.
And then you hear I Could Save the World, and you can see it's all there already. You know, it's just a matter of tightening it up and executing things right. And now, so I'm focusing more to make sure that instead of just getting the ideas down, that I'm playing the parts well, and you know, I'm a hack. So it takes me a little longer than some guys on certain instruments. But when you can sit here all by yourself and you have the time and work out these things, and it's the clock and the money clock isn't ticking.
Right.
You know, I've can afford myself a little more time, and as I'm seeing that it's a little bit more practical if I want to keep releasing a lot of material, that to do it here by myself, you know, maybe occasionally something else that I need to work on, tighten up my skills. You know, as I'm a pretty unconventional guy, and that reflects in my production. But if I can do that, I mean, then everybody's happy, you know, and we can maybe try to make a buck or two one day.
Sure. Now, one other thing, and this is nothing to do with nothing musically. It's just something I've thought for a while, especially having interviewed you numerous times over the years. You would be fantastic, in my mind, to do like a live video podcast type of a thing, like releasing once, because you have so many stories and you tell them well. And that's the big key, is everybody has stories, but how well you tell them is the key. And you obviously tell them well with songs, but you tell them well just when you're speaking. Have you ever thought about doing something like that, where maybe you tell almost like a ongoing storytellers type of a thing?
I'm starting to freeze up a little bit. There we go.
Hold on. Let it catch up.
First of all, yeah, we're starting to freeze up a little bit though, but you see how you got to be responsible to do something like what you're doing. You have to be consistent and responsible. And you know, if I'm not smoking a cigarette, I'm smoking this thing. And so eventually it's just a matter of time before this all gets removed. And then I can do that, you know, just tell a story, or you doing that. Yeah, funny thing happened on the way to the blah, blah, blah. And so, well, let's see. I mean, who knows what I can do? Who knows what I will do? I'm just getting my feet back into this and trying to adapt and figure out what's going to happen with this business. And the artists, you know, for a while, that was the only way you don't sell records anymore. You have to sell, you have to perform. And with my anxiety, my age, everything I've been through, you know, you get demoralized. It's like, it's a plus with the new situation with COVID and stuff. It's not necessarily as practical or as logical to get out and tour. And so I have no plans to tour. I'll go do good shows and well promoted, sensible shows. You know what I mean? And if maybe some live stream performances and things like that. And like, that's a lot of work. I have a lot of anxiety, and we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's another one of the things, you know, I like to invent. I could be an inventor, you know, I can do the podcast or do something like that. But once again, like I said, you got to be responsible and consistent with something like that. Sure.
Now, I'm curious for you, if what you think about this, and then again, I'll throw a hard question at you.
Oh no.
But when you go out and play gigs, when you go out and play shows, there's always somebody that's there that's going to be willing to put some junk in your hands, whatever it would be. Do you worry about that? Do you have the right people in place to keep that shit away from you now? Or
I could go get that shit right this minute if I wanted to. You know what I mean? I've found and discovered a lot of the reasons that I did that. You know, I wasn't well prepared. I was very young. That was my first band. I had a lot of issues, and I was very isolated as a kid and very insecure. And it was a rough childhood, and it was, you know, I was pretty beaten down, and, you know, I went right into Enuff Z'nuff. And so, I forget what you were talking about. I forgot what I was saying.
People handing you junk on the road.
Oh yeah. So that became a thing, and that became, it took on a life of its own. It really became a thing. And, you know, there was a lot of things that I didn't necessarily feel were right or agreed with instinctually with what was happening with the music and the vision, and where I didn't foresee my music sounding quite like it came out sounding in Enuff Z'nuff, and you know, that whole kind of lineup and stuff. I really wasn't where I thought I was going, and so I kind of I could write the songs, I could sing the songs. It was very simple, and so I just kind of like hung on for the ride and enjoyed the big party for me everywhere I went, you know. And but you know, I could get that shit now. I'm just sick and tired of I get the get the willies just thinking about doing that. And some of those feelings, the feelings that I felt, was very lonely and very ugly, you know. And I'm ugly and I'm old enough. I don't need to be ugly and lonely, you know.
I hear you, man. Well, Donnie, obviously there's a lot going on in your camp. You've got the box set on the thumb drive, which is absolutely awesome. I definitely recommend everybody get that. There's so much good music on that.
There you go, man. $100.
There it is.
You can't beat the bang for the buck, and it's your VIP pass too, to meet and greets and stuff like that. And
it's the whole Donnie Vie experience.
Until we're ready for the Donnie Vie hour. That's a podcast. I shouldn't say, oh my God.
Don't curse
do
yourself.
That to me.
Nice.
I've been cursed since the day I was born already.
I hear you. But in addition to that, you've got the Party Time video, which is available anywhere that you watch videos, and just a lot going on. So Donnie, man, once again, it's always great to talk to you, man, and good luck with it.
Thank you very much. I'm going to put on my cape and go out and fight crime.
Thanks for checking out this episode of The Classic Metal Show. Get all of our episodes uncensored at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. Join us weekly from 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. Eastern at www.cmsradio.net. Participate in the live chat room at www.chatandkill.com. Once again, thank you for checking out The Classic Metal Show with Neely and Chris. Hail and kill, fuck you, pal, and hand